We've got another warning about smartphones now, social media, and our kids. Thousands of parents have signed the Wait Until 8th pledge, calling on parents to hold off on giving their kids smartphones until they're in 8th grade. Still, some experts say even that age is too young. The Surgeon General finds kids who spend 3 hours a day on social media are twice as likely to be anxious or depressed, and half of teens say social media makes them feel bad about their bodies. According to the American Psychological Association, teens spend an average of 5 hours a day on social media. Author and speaker Deborah Heitner joining us now. She has a PhD in media and technology from Northwestern University, and she has studied the relationship between kids and smartphones. Welcome back. It's always nice to see you. Is 8th grade the right age or still too soon to have access to this type of technology?
There is no perfect age for kids to get access to this technology. 8th grade is when most kids get to the age where it's legal. It's 13 is currently the age where these apps you're allowed to have access to these apps according to the app's terms of service. So that's Snapchat, Instagram, Discord are 13 and up. For every family, it's important to look at your own kids' maturity and work with them if they're getting started on one of these apps. Think about who they should follow, have them walk you through who they're connecting with, think about the privacy settings. So I think it's not a black and white issue like, oh, there's this one age, that's the perfect age. 8th grade can be a very stressful time for a lot of kids in terms of their identity and social comparison. And certainly adding social media can be an additional stressor. At the same time, learning about it while you still have many years in front of you living with your parents, as opposed to closer to when you're launching into college and life beyond, could be a good thing, especially because your parents can still mentor you and work with you on your experience on the apps.
What is an appropriate way to intervene if a child has had access to a smartphone for a number of years and the parents are now concerned about the rabbit hole that they have gone down? How do you step in and start that type of monitoring if they're already down the road a bit?
I would say mentoring over monitoring at any age. And mentoring could be having a family meeting and saying, this is a real concern for me. For example, say your kid is not getting enough sleep. They're taking their phone to bed and they're scrolling, or they're waking up at night with messages. That would be a situation where I would intervene. Depending on their age, you could just start taking their phone at night. If they're older, I would work with them to try to self-regulate first, because especially if they're about to launch into college or adulthood, it's probably, you're not going to come to their dorm and take their phone at night. So think about having them put it in airplane mode, keep it somewhere else, and really work with them on the benefits of sleep, of getting enough rest, which have tremendous physical and mental health benefits. If there's another concern like pornography or body image issues related to social media, I would be very direct with your kid, and absolutely also work with, if you believe your child is addicted or really struggling with mental health, that's a point where I would sit down with a mental health counselor, and they may need to talk to that person and not just you, because it's important for teenagers to have access to both qualified mental health help and also adults that aren't their parents to talk through some of these issues.
What does the data show about banning cell phones in schools? I know a lot of administrators would like to see this happen, and on the flip side, you've got parents who say, I want to stay in touch with my child while they're at school. What's the right balance to strike there?
We live in a tremendously anxious society, and parents have been through a lot in these last 5 years with pandemic school closures, school shootings, et cetera. So I understand and empathize with that. And I understand why some schools want to ban cell phones. We don't have a lot of data because banning cell phones is relatively new, and the creep down to elementary school and middle school with cell phones is also new. So cell phones have been in high school for a long time, but they kind of went down in age in the last 6 years, where we're seeing them in elementary and middle school, or kids with watches. And teachers do tell me they're distracting for their students. At the same time, most students have an iPad, a Chromebook, or another device that they're using for learning throughout the day. So every school needs to be thoughtful about teaching kids how to use tech appropriately, empowering teachers to have kids put away, whether it's the school tech or their personal phone, at times when they're not needed. And there is some interesting anecdotal evidence that I've heard from kids themselves that kids are a little bit more social if they put their phones away at lunch. So we really don't have data per se on, long-term data on cell phone bans, because cell phones are so new in schools. We'll have to see how it goes. But every school that's doing this is going to see probably some benefits and some challenges for kids on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.